When you get your chunk of clay, it might be in a square or might be in a circle. Your first step to make a clay head is to make this look more like a potato. So you could roll it on your table and then smooth it with your thumbs. We want the ends to be a little bit rounded. So mine got kind of flat. I'm going to smooth this. And then one of the tops of this is going to be the head. So as I'm working, I can kind of look and think, does one of them start to feel a little bit more rounded, like I would want for the head? Okay. So I'm gonna have mine go this way. 2/3 of the way down, we're gonna be squeezing a neck. So we want most of your clay to be the head of your person, and then just a little bit to be the neck and shoulders. So I'm just gonna squeeze. I don't want a real skinny neck because it has to support the weight of this head. And then I'm going to press. And you can give it a little tap to make sure that it's really sitting solid on your table. There we go. Then my next step is to just rotate this around and decide, is there a spot that kind of looks like a chin? And just smoothing, there's kind of a lump here. And I'm noticing that this kind of looks like a chin, so I'm going to call this the front of my face. So I have the front of my face, and I could smooth it a little bit more before I get started. But our next step is going to be to pinch a nose. And so on a human head, the eyes are in the middle of the head, and then nose and mouth. So if I kind of keep that in mind as I'm working, I'm going to be pinching the clay, and it's going to make the eyes kind of set in when I pinch this, and it's going to make the nose come out. So then I can kind of keep playing with this clay. So I'm not even adding clay to this right now, I'm just using the clay that's already there and creating this face. And from the side, we want to see that that nose is sticking out. So make sure that you are creating a 3D effect. All right, so I've got my nose. And then we're going to be cutting open the mouth. So I'm going to take a tool and I'm just going to press this in. Your clay head can have some sort of an emotion. So you might make it look like yourself, or you might make it look like another person. So as I cut this open, if I want it to be happy, I could have the mouth kind of turn up, and I might use some different tools here to create that look. There we go. This tool has kind of a nice rounded end like that, and that's great for working. Okay, so I could have it be happy, I could make it be sad. You want to be careful though about, like, once you've opened that mouth up, you don't want to close up that hole because it could trap an air bubble inside. So once this is open, we kind of need to work with what's there. So think about, what is your face going to be? I'm going to go back to a happy look. But inside of the mouth, probably need to use a tool. I can smooth that out. Okay. And then for the eyes, to start with, you can use some of the clay from your clay head. So if I take a tool, a wire tool like this, and then I just twist on the bottom, I can start to pull clay out of my clay head. We need to hollow this out anyway before you let it dry. So at this point, the clay is still pretty wet, so we don't want to take too much because it will make our, it could make it weak. So just be careful as you're taking the clay out that you don't go too much. I'm going to smooth this out because clay gets really sharp when it dries if you leave little edges. Okay, so for the eyes, there's lots of things we can do here, but basically your actual eyes are little circles that sit in your eye socket. So I could start by creating actual eyes like this. And if it doesn't feel like those are sitting in the clay, you could even press in the eye socket a little bit more. As we're adding clay to this, it's good to rough up the surface a little bit. This clay is very wet, so I'm not concerned about it sticking. You can also use a wet clay called slip that's kind of like glue. So if your clay started to dry out and you're concerned, you can add water or slip to the clay. But as we rough up the surface, that helps. And then I can take this tool and go around the edge to make sure that circle actually is attached to the clay. Now right now it looks a little rough, but I'm going to cover that up with eyelids. Okay, so now I'm going to continue to work, and I can keep smoothing out the mouth, creating a chin. I'm going to make this second eye here, so I'm going to just roll the coil, put that there, roll the coil, put this in the bottom, and then I just smooth the edge here, because I want this line to stay, because on your eyelids you actually see where it opens and closes, but on the top it should be attached. And smoothing as I go. Another eye. And then I could think about shaping this nose just how I want it. I want it to look more realistic. I can actually create those two side areas. I'm not sure if they have names or not. And then I can put the nostrils in even. So one thing that's going to add a lot of emotion to your face is putting eyebrows on. And here it almost looks like I'm getting a brow line. That's kind of interesting. It's just from creating it, I've already kind of got that space. So as I put eyebrows on, that's quite an eyebrow. That might be too big. I'm going to roll another little coil of clay. And he's kind of just looking like a happy guy. So if I just kind of put eyebrows on normal, that looks pretty happy. If I start playing with these and do something like this, now he looks like more of a sinister guy, because as our eyebrows angle and go down, that looks a little bit more angry. Or maybe he's like, oh, what are you talking about? Or it could be like, if his eyebrows are way up high, then it's like, surprise, ah. So play around with those, because that really does affect the feeling of your face. So my guy's just gonna kind of be pleasantly happy, but this isn't really attached until I attach it. So I'm gonna score this, just roughing up the surface. And then I either need to I can take a pencil, those work great, or I can take a clay tool, like this. And I could even add a little texture. Yeah. Need to do the same, I think. I lost the tip of my pencil. All right, let's score this. And make sure it's attached. So if you can see the crack where the clay goes together, it's probably not as attached as it could be. So kind of want to erase those edges. All right, I still have a little bit of clay left, and I'm going to turn these into ears. Now, depending on what, if you're making a person with short hair or long hair, you may or may not see the ears. But if I make kind of like a letter D, or half of a circle, so I'm going to go something like this, your ears line up with the eye and the top, your eyes and your bottom of your nose. And I'm going to do the same kind of thing where I attach this. So as long as I know that one side got attached really good, it should be on there. So I'm going to attach this good. because I can still see the crack there. Although I could go like this and make sure that gets attached well too. And then I could even do a little sculpting and make the whole of the ear. The trick is going to be to get the other ear to look like it's lining up just the same. So same thing, I'm making a half circle. I want it to be about the same size. And I'm going to line it up. There we go. Smooth it on. And I can see some spots up here that kind of need to get some smoothing going on too. So by the end of day 1, our goal is to get this far so that you've got the basic, the head, and maybe you're starting to get some of the features on. And then on day 2, we're going to add the hair and details like clothes. To write your name on your person, I would like you to make sure that you write this in kind of a rainbow. So you're going to get a sharp pencil, and in your very best slow, careful writing, write your full first name. I'm writing my last name since you call me Silas. Okay, but it needs to be readable. And then if there are any little crumbs, we're going to wipe those out of the way because those get sharp when it fires. So at least your full first name, no initials. If you want to write your class code, you could also do that. There we go. And I'm all set to put this in storage.